All right, here's our first proof, the first of many. So in this example, take a look at what we're given and what we're asked to prove. That's always your first place you start. So we're given that angle A is a right angle. We've got this rectangle over here. Here's angle A. And we also are given that angle C is equal to 90 degrees. Prove that angle A is congruent to angle C. All right, well, the first thing they told us was that angle A is a right angle. We know that right angles have that little box, so we can go ahead and mark that in. So our statements, remember the givens, are going to end up over on this side. So we're going to start with that first given, that angle A, let's see here, angle A is a right angle. Now the reasons is, how did we know that? How did we know that angle A was a right angle? And you say, well, because they told us it was in the given. So that's all you have to do. You have to write given. All right. Now, because we know that angle A is at a right angle, the next logical conclusion would be that angle A is equal to 90 degrees. And then we'd say, well, how did we know that? And that's one of those definitions that we put in our notes. That's just the definition of a right angle. So definition of right angle. And you can do little abbreviations like that if you want. So any statement that you make over on the left, over on the right side, you just have to give the reason for how did you know that. All right, so that takes care of angle A. Now we also know, remember, they told us that angle C was equal to 90 degrees. So that's another statement we can make. Angle C is equal to 90 degrees. And our reason, how did we know? Well, again, that was given to us, so that's just a given. So what we have now, if you notice, is we're saying that angle A is 90 degrees and that angle C is 90 degrees. So because they both are equal to 90 degrees, we can say that angle A is congruent to angle C. And that's actually exactly what we had to prove. So remember, what you're trying to prove always ends up in the last spot down here. How did we know that angle A was congruent to angle C? Well, remember we had that definition of congruent angles. So definition of congruent angles. And in your notes you said that the definition of congruent angles, this reason we're putting, says if two angles have the same measure, then they are congruent. So these two angles have the same measure, which is why we're able to say they're congruent because of the definition of congruent angles. And there we have proved that angle A is congruent to angle C.